Just talk about the kind of decision to put Keegan back in the starting rotation this week.
Is that what we're going to do?
It's been released.
Man, you guys are on top of things. You know what? Saturday's the most important game. I've always said that. I think the middle game's the most important game, and I think some of the things that I've got to do is I've got to stay true to who I am and the way that I've done it in the past, and not let the way that we've lost games affect how you manage or coach a team. So that's part of it. Saturday's important. The middle game's important because if you win that game, you need a horse in there that's really going to put pressure on the other team to lose the series right then and there, which we did the first 2 weekends. Or you've got to have somebody that's going to be able to get you even and get you to the rubber match. So, I got away from some of the truths that have gotten me to where I am, or maybe made me, inviting to Auburn to hire me, and I'm going to go back to those. And I'll tell you, it's not a question, but a good example is these runners that have been continuously thrown out, and there's mistakes made on the base path that my teams just don't make, haven't made, shouldn't make. And it finally hit me at Sanford. We had runners at first and third. We're down by 2 in the 8th inning, and it's real simple. The guy on third doesn't mean a whole lot. It's the guy at first base, and it's getting him in. He's going to be the 8th run. He's going to be the tying run. And we had a swinging bunt down the first baseline, and it's an out at first base. It's going to be 2 outs, man, at second and third, but instead we break at third. We try to score, and it was a terrible mistake. And we're thrown out at the plate, and now we got runners at first and second, and Thomas Shea comes to the plate and he gets the single. And it makes it 8-7, but it doesn't make it 8-8. And those are simple things that we just can't do. We've got to do a better job, and our players have got to do a better job. We've all got to do a better job. And so, that's just one of those things where if you're standing at third base, I tell you, hey, look, don't go unless you can score. You've got to be able to score standing up easy because your run doesn't matter right now. And that didn't happen. So we tried to squeeze bunt. I'll tell you guys this, and you didn't ask this, but I want you to know what's going on because I clearly know what's going on, and it's my job to fix it. But at Ole Miss on Friday, we tried to squeeze in the first inning. And what happened is the guy was in the windup, and if he's in the stretch, which 90% of the time they are, if they're in the stretch, they're in the stretch, and then as soon as they bring their knee up, you make sure they go to the plate, and then you go. You don't give it away. Well, he was in the windup. As soon as he stepped back, we took off running. We almost stole home, and they pitched out, not because they called it from the dugout, because the pitcher and the catcher just reacted because we let them know we were coming. And that was a mistake. And again, when the guy's in the windup, you tell if you're running at third, Jason, I just say, hey, don't go too early. Don't give it away. But that message wasn't relayed. Away we went early, gave it away, and we were tagged out on a pitch out. That was an adjusted pitch out. And, I talked to them afterwards, and they didn't have pitch out called there, And so that's the game that goes extra innings. So those kind of mistakes are being made, and sure, we've dropped fly balls, and sure, the ones that are apparent, I think, to the fans and the media are there, but there's so many mistakes that aren't apparent that we're making that we're just not going to make them. We're not going to make them anymore. Those days are over. History, starting this day forward, we're not going to make them.
The freshmen have been a big part of things. They still going to be a big part of things.
Terrific. They've been terrific. They really have been terrific. They've done everything asked of them. Keegan, on Friday closed when we asked him to close, and we told him we wouldn't be able to start after 41 pitches, so be ready to close again. And he did a terrific job. And Alabama's really good. Alabama's a top 10 program. There's no doubt in my mind. And Alabama is going to host. And Alabama's going to be hard to beat at their place. If I were Mitch, I'd be battling my tail off to try to be a host because they fit that ballpark perfect. Now, I don't know about the new ballpark they'll play in. I don't know that team's going to fit the Met very well, but it fits that ballpark. That's a bandbox, and they got big guys that can hit it out of there. So they're going to be tough at home. And, again, we got 7 freshmen on the yard on Sunday, and that's really encouraging because it comes right down to it.
Well, speaking of that,
Yeah.
I mean, you got seniors getting ready for their last game against Alabama, and then they don't play. In a series that's tied, what was the thinking behind that?
We went, and we made that really clear to our team. We went with the best players. We went with the best players available. In other words, a left-hander, and Tella has struggled with left-handers. There's no doubt about it. He has really struggled with some left-handers. Now, against Sanford, we left him in, and he laid down a beautiful push bunt and got a hit in a crucial situation. He can do that against left-handers, but we've got to work, and we're going to again today. He really needs to see that left-handed breaking ball, and he really needs to have it adjusted where one's out of the zone, one's in the zone. So we need to spend more special time with our left-handed hitters than we have, because we don't match up real good right now. And Tella is such a special talent. He should be able to hit righty and lefties the same, but he doesn't right now. So we went with our best lineup. We felt Benning is playing the best, getting the most hits, and so it really wasn't a youth movement. It was the best team we could put on the field at that particular time, and that's what we're going to continue to do. Our guys understand that. We still think we can get to an NCAA tournament. Our margin of error that window's small. It's barely cracked open. I realize that.
The 4 upperclassmen you left at home, they're going to be back and ready to go this
Yeah,
week?
That's just again, it's a minor thing. It's a violation of team policy. But guys, I'm trying to change the culture around here. And if you're going to play baseball at Auburn, you're going to recognize you're a student athlete, and the word student comes before athlete. Most of these guys aren't going to make a living in Major League Baseball. They need to get their degree, and I'm going to make sure that I emphasize the right things as their coach. And I had no idea how many things were broken when I took the job. I had no idea, and I'm learning the hard way. I will tell you that. But you can print this. Is the program going to change Golloway, or is Golloway going to change the program? That's really where I'm at right now. That's the crossroads that I'm at. So, done some uncharacteristic things and trying to make sure the culture changes. Frustrated beyond frustration, and still am able to put a smile on my face and go to work every day because I'm blessed to be a baseball coach at a great university. But I'm frustrated. So I'm not gonna let the program change me. I'm gonna change the program.
Are there things you would have done differently, maybe in the last month? When you were saying earlier that you're kind of frustrated and you're getting away from some things, some core tenets.
Yeah, I'd have stayed in the third base coaching box regardless of how bad our morale was in the dugout. I probably would have just said, okay, as rough as it would have been, I would have eliminated some of the problems in the dugout so that I wouldn't have had to monitor them, and stayed on third base coaching. Come on, fellas, at Alabama, we have bases loaded. When we scored 3 runs on Sunday, and we get thrown out at the plate twice in the same inning. We scored 3 runs, we were thrown out the plate. And one time we're thrown out the plate with nobody, no outs. And we're thrown out by 10 or 15 feet. We're around in third, and I'm yelling, no, because when he was right there halfway, he was out. I would have stayed at third base, and I like my coaching staff. I think we have a tremendous future, and we're teaching them as we go, and they're still the right people because they're good quality people, and they need to be given a little bit of a break too. And I'll tell you why. Greg Norton can teach you how to hit a baseball all day long. But when you go to the plate in the major leagues and when you go to the plate in college baseball, there's a different approach. And I'll give you just a quick example. In the 9th inning, if you're down by 5, you're swinging a bat to get a hit because your agent wants you to get a hit because he's trying to get you a new contract. Well, when you go to the plate down that many here at college, but you got to take till you get a strike. If you were to tell a Major League Baseball player, take till you get a strike, he'd tell you jump in the lake. If he likes the first one, he's pulling the trigger. It's just a different philosophy. And then here's the last thing. Guys, we're third in the league in batting average. I mean, look at the numbers. And you could say we're first in stolen bases. We're also first in getting thrown out. I pushed the envelope there. A lot of those have been hit and runs. We're not very good at making contact with hit and run. We're going to get better because it's going to be demanded of our players in the future, and it hasn't been in the past. I mean, we've sat there. We've had older guys that stand there and take and just say, well, it was a curveball. It's hit and run. You got to swing the bat. But here's the thing. You go look at our RBIs and you go look at our slugging percentage and you look at our batting average with men in scoring position, it's atrocious. Now, you can't sit there with a man at second or third or both looking for a fastball. Nobody's going to throw it to you. You've got to be able to hit a curveball. You've got to be able to hit a changeup. And we're not doing it. You know, we are elephant hunting in Alabama. We are. And we're going out every day and we're putting on the right gear and we have the right equipment. And if we see an elephant, we're going to kill it. You know, that's what I'm saying. We're looking for something with men in scoring position that is not going to appear. And that again goes back to the whole philosophy of we've got to do a better job teaching college kids the approach. And that's part of my frustration. I'm coaching coaches, I'm coaching players, and I'm changing the culture of a program. And
You gonna go back to coaching third base?
yes, I'll stand at third base and let everybody yell at me and scream at me. If I get somebody thrown out, it'll be on me. But we're going to do it the right way. If we're ahead, get ready because we're going to send them. If we're behind, we're not. And that's the philosophy. Guys, when you're behind, you got to stay there and get the hit. So we shouldn't have went the other day. If we're ahead, if we're up by 3 and we dribble one out front, go. And tell the 2 backside guys to keep running. Don't just run one station and stop, go. But we haven't been ahead a whole lot to do that. So we got to be a little smarter about our outs.
So what's the scouting report for South Carolina?
They're good, and they're good. They've lost a few here lately, more than they normally have. So they're angry, and they're angry. So good and angry is not a good combination. But I like our chances at home. Montgomery, I faced him 2 years ago in a super regional, special left-handed arm, no doubt about it. And they used him in different roles then, you know, to win a super regional. They wouldn't mind bringing him out of the pen, but their arms are going to be good. And to be honest with you, their Sunday guy right now might be throwing the best. You know, he's got the best numbers out of all 3. But Chad hasn't changed it, and that was a beauty for them. I mean, they went from, you know, Ray to Chad and didn't have to change much as far as the kids and everything. They're just right in line with what they've been doing. So Pancake, I understand, at third and swinging the bat really good and gotten bigger and stronger. So he's their leading hitter. We're going to have to pitch around him a little bit. And, you know, Tanner English is going to run. I've seen him before. I've seen their key guys 2 years ago on Super Regional, so we know what's coming at us. We'll be ready.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
I think it all depends on where